They thought him weak. Last in line. The champion called him. He smiled, knowing how the fight ends. The arena roared like a living thing. 10,000 voices thundered from the stands, eager for blood. The stone floor was stained dark from 100 battles past, and the air shimmered with heat from the braziers mounted high above. Yarrick stood at the end of the fighters' line, leaning casually against the wall. He didn't look like much. Lean, almost wiry, his tunic plain, his arms bare scars or tattoos. The others in the line were built like fortress walls. Broad shoulders, armored torsos, hands like hammers. The crowd's attention barely touched him. Nobody expected the last man in line to matter. In the center of the arena stood Vorin the Unbroken, reigning champion for 7 years. His chest was bare, his muscles like carved stone, his warhammer resting easily against his shoulder. His grin was confident, almost bored, the smile of a man who had never lost. The announcer's voice echoed through the amphitheater. Next challenger stepped forward. The first man in line charged out, bellowing. The fight was short, brutal, and over in less than a minute. Vorin barely broke a sweat. The second fell faster. The third didn't even get back up. One by one, the strongest, loudest, and fiercest fell, and Yarrick stayed where he was, silent, eyes half-lidded. By the time the second-to-last fighter was carried off, the crowd was chanting for more blood. Vorin rolled his shoulders, scanning the line. His eyes landed on Yarrick, the final challenger. The champion's grin widened. You? They send you last? You'll barely be a warm-up. Yarrick stepped forward slowly, almost lazily, until he stood opposite the giant in the center of the arena. He looked up, meeting Vorin's gaze without flinching. And then he smiled, not the smile of a fool or a man in denial, the smile of someone who already knew how this fight would end. The crowd laughed. Even the announcer's voice carried amusement when he called the signal to begin. Vorin lunged first, swinging his warhammer in a blur of motion. Yarrick sidestepped so quickly it was almost unnatural, the hammer slamming into the ground where he had stood. Dust exploded upward. Before the champion could recover, Yarrick's foot shot out, kicking the side of his knee. Not enough to break it, but enough to make it buckle slightly. The crowd's laughter faltered. Vorin snarled, adjusting his stance. Lucky. Yarrick said nothing. He just kept smiling. The champion charged again, hammer sweeping in a brutal arc meant to crush a man in a single blow. But once again, Yarrick wasn't there. He moved with fluidity that didn't match his build, weaving around the strike, slipping inside the giant's guard, and tapping his ribs with an open palm. Vorin grunted and stepped back. It wasn't a powerful hit. It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to remind him that Yarrick could get close whenever he wanted. By the third exchange, the crowd was no longer laughing. Sweat glistened on Vorin's skin. His swings were faster now, more desperate. Each time, Yarrick avoided them with just enough movement to let the attacks miss by inches. Each time, his smile stayed the same, calm, certain, patient. Vorin's breathing grew heavier. His footwork less clean. Yarrick's eyes never left him. You're playing with me? The champion growled. Yarrick tilted his head slightly. No, I'm ending this when it suits me. That stung. Vorin roared and brought the hammer down in an overhead strike that would have shattered stone. Yarrick stepped inside the swing, his hand snapping up to grip the hammer shaft. For a heartbeat, the two men locked eyes. Then Yarrick twisted, The hammer flew from Voron's hands, spinning across the arena and clanging against the wall. The gas in the crowd was almost as loud as the weapon's impact. Before the champion could react, Jarek's palm slammed into his chest. Once, twice, 3 times, faster than the eye could follow. Voron staggered back, eyes wide. His legs wobbled. His breath caught in his throat. Jarek stepped forward and spoke for the first time loud enough for the arena to hear. You thought I was weak because I let you believe it. You thought the fight was yours before it began. The champion tried to take another step and collapsed to his knees. Jarek stood over him, calm as ever. But I already knew how this ends. Voron fell face first into the dirt, unconscious. The arena was silent for a single heartbeat, then erupted into chaos. The announcer's voice cracked as he declared the match. Victory to Jarek. Jarek turned and walked away without raising his hands, without acknowledging the roaring crowd, because he didn't fight for them. He fought because every man who thought him weak was a man who never saw the smile that meant they'd already lost.